beautiful creative soul, and welcome back to Chakra-Care for the creative soul, where I offer busy light workers like yourself awakening to their greater vision and mission, an opportunity to check in, slow down, and care as much for yourself as you care for the world while you're birthing your sacred soul gifts out into the world. And today, my intention, as always, is to offer you a little bit of soul balm to help you get your week off to a great start. And there's so much I'm excited to share with you today because we just came out of the 11/11 portal yesterday. And so today's show is all about caring for yourself during this 11/11 portal initiation into star energy. And I'm going to unpack that a little bit. And most importantly, I'm going to offer you a sacred self-care practice today. Today's episode may be a little bit shorter than other ones because I'm going to invite you to continue a sacred self-care practice after the sharing today. And it's also Diwali, and I just hand on heart, it's a beautiful time around the world. It's a time of light triumphing over darkness, of ignorance being risen above by knowledge, the knowledge of the heart. And it's really a beautiful time of the year. And I feel a very special personal connection to it too, because the school where I teach, we have a very big Sri Lankan community of students, and we have a Tamil Students Association, and they organized the most beautiful Diwali celebration over the lunch hour with all kinds of food. They had samosas and fresh mango juice, and they had beautiful bindi and bracelets and photographs. They were also all dressed up in the most beautiful outfits, and they were doing performances, and they were just so abundantly sharing the beauty of this time of the year. And it's starting to wear off a little bit now. I got a little bit of henna on my hands, and I was intuitively drawn to this symbol. And it's really interesting because it's got the spiral in the center of a flower, and then there's 3 spirals beneath it. And it's kind of hard to see, but in the center of this this flower where the spiral is located, there's also a line going through it. And I didn't know that until, you know, the workday was over, and I just took a few moments to really be with this symbol that I was drawn to, this beautiful henna design. And it was funny because I had it done on my left hand first. It's starting to wear off a little bit here, as you can see. And then I was looking for the matching one for this hand because I felt like I want to do it on both hands. And it almost looked like they didn't have it at first, and then it turned out they did. The reason I share all of this is it's kind of like a little bit of a parable, because I'm going to be speaking to and unpacking all of this. It's just a delightful example of how this has been unfolding in such a simple and yet profound way in my life. And through the practice of noticing what I've been noticing on the personal level, I can also see it being reflected for all of us to notice on the collective level. And so it's interesting because I then even noticed where it was aligned, which finger it was aligned with. It was my middle finger. And it almost felt like I kept having this urge to place my hands in prayer position. There was something so beautiful about the whole experience of celebrating Diwali. I got the bindi as well too, a beautiful fuchsia bindi. And I remember thinking to myself, go big or go home. So I got a really big one, and I was proudly sporting that around the building. And it's such a beautiful festival too, because it's not celebrated by just one religion. And really now more than ever on this planet we call Mother Earth, just what what really overflowed from my heart during the whole celebration was beauty. Because I was asking one of the teachers, because a number of teachers were dressed up. I had wanted to dress up because we were offered the opportunity to do that. And I noticed that with some other things I was having to sort of take care of this earlier in the week, I had to take a day off. I didn't coordinate that as well. And I was talking to a couple of the other teachers, and one of them, I was asking her, about the symbolism of certain things. And her answer was profoundly simple, and it touched my heart. And she said, it's about beauty. It's about beauty. And having this beautiful henna on my hands and being drawn to put my hands in prayer position. Like my hands naturally just wanted to constantly be in prayer position. It was beyond gratitude. It was a sense of really noticing all the beauty and celebrating all the beauty. And today I share all of this because yesterday, as you know, the energies, the 1111 portal, there's so much out there that's being talked about with it. I can share what I've been noticing myself with all of you. And I would also invite you to share in the chat if you're listening live or even after on the replay in the comments, what you were noticing during the 1111 portal. Because the 1111 portal is a master number, as a lot of you already know. And it's about really, from my own experience, what I've been noticing about that 1111 master number is it's about really emphasizing that whole practice of noticing what we're noticing. It's that flash in front of us saying, what are you paying attention to? What are you aware of in this now moment? And the beautiful thing too is about the number 1111, those numbers, is if you add them up, it equals 4. And in ascended numerology, 4 is all about perfect balance. And so moving forward, and we're still in the wash of these energies, we're celebrating the height of Diwali today and this beautiful festival of lights. It really is, what are you paying attention to? Are you paying attention to what is working in your life, to the beauty around you? Or are you so distracted by what is not working, what you don't want, that you're missing the beauty in your life? You're missing the moments to put your hands in prayer position and namaste and just connect to everything that is available for you. You see, this connects to star consciousness too. And star consciousness is that ability to, and I'm going to just invite you to tap if you're not already familiar with star consciousness. I know many of you may be. It's just above your third eye chakra, and it's in the center of your forehead. And you can start by gently tapping it, or you can gently circle around, and you'll begin to notice something. Just notice what you're noticing. And this star consciousness that's birthing and activating on the planet now more than ever, we're being given the opportunity to claim this beautiful gift of awareness of our multidimensional presence, is to go beyond limitations, to go beyond seeing. And really, since January of this past year, the universe has been conspiring in a beautiful way to help you to release the limitations of the false self, of the self that is comprised of many different belief structures, programs, distortion field energies, imprints from others that maybe don't even belong to you, past life entanglements is what I'm feeling guided to say. And just to start to peel off those layers and it's almost like those layers have been layers of protection. And that's what so many of these things are for us. When we are transforming and moving through all kinds of challenging situations, which, if you feel identified as a light worker, just someone who's on an awakening journey, I don't want to get too hung up in semantics. I just use the term light worker as a touch point, because sometimes it can be helpful to have those along the way. That when we are moving through so many challenging experiences, we can tend to put on many layers, almost like a heavy coat. And those heavy layers, while they may seem to protect us, also offer us even further growth by providing. This is how the universe is showing it to me right now. It's really cute. It's quite delightful. When you have lint on your clothing or animal hair on your clothing, fur on your clothing, you grew up with cats here, so had a lot of cat hair on everything. Or even just, the lint from the dryer, that the similar energies that those coping mechanisms, those layers of coat, heavy coat, have been serving to help you cope with and move through, they're also, they have sort of like a Velcro or a static cling, if you will, to all the layers that we're carrying with us. And that's why life can start to feel so heavy and we can feel so weighed down. And because we can also start to believing that that's who we are. And right now on the planet, that's a whole other show. I've been, experiencing a huge opportunity to walk my talk and to clean up my own dust bunnies in my house. And that has been through all these initiations, where the interference energies have come in very loud and clear in a way that I could not miss, push aside, shove in the corner, or pretend myself out of them. They were too present. And I know I'm not alone in that. I know so many people have been experiencing that. And I want you to know it's okay. I want you to know, hand on heart, that if this has been your experience over the past week and a half or so, or longer even, it's because it's really ramped up and intensified. It's because right now this portal is really offering us, in preparation for the new moon tomorrow, an opportunity to really choose which timeline we're going to step onto. And I also I felt guided today as I was preparing for sharing today to unpack the word choice a little bit. Because whenever we're transitioning through a transformative or transformational process from an old way of being into a new way of being, we tend to bring some of the old ways with us to kind of scaffold our way into the new. This doesn't always happen, perhaps, but I think it's very common. We have those momentary times where we take leaps of faith. And again, I still think even in those leaps of faith, there is, quite frankly, that old coming in with the new. And it's just, I see it as two radio dials where we're turning down the volume of the old and turning up the volume of the new until the old just is like a fade out. And the reason I share that is that choice, when we're coming out of our old programming of linear, logical, sequential, left brain dominant type thinking, where we have downplayed our intuitive capacities and our trust in the divine and needed to understand everything and figure everything out, it's very easy to hear that word choice and carry the imprint of that understanding of what that word truly means into the new experience, where we begin to awaken to our multidimensional presence and our ability to see beyond perception and limitations. Because it might suggest to us that we need to figure things out first and then act. And in my own humble experience along the way, nothing could be further from the truth. And I'll ground this in a practical, real life example in just one moment. What I also want to add to it is that when we are, at least what I've been noticing, so I use the collective we because I also acknowledge my oneness with everyone. And this is what I want to contribute to the field right now, is this awareness that's been bubbling up in me. And it's the trust in the divine guidance, the intuitive hits, the pings, and then the awareness is the choice. It's not that we make an informed decision through our logical mind, and then, if we get confused, we can get bogged down in that, and then we don't know what to do, and we miss the ping. We don't even hear or see or acknowledge the intuitive hit or ping, and then we don't take the passionate action, and then we stay stuck. What I'm offering for you to consider is what I've been noticing recently more and more intensely. I mean, I've been intuitive my whole life, is that when I completely trust the intuitive ping, the choice that I'm talking about is the choice to keep my eyes on the divine, to focus on what I'm noticing, and it's more about awareness than figuring things out. Concrete example, I needed to and wanted to take my mother down for a medical appointment downtown earlier in the week, and I wasn't familiar with where the parking was for the hospital. And what I noticed was I had a very strong intuitive hit that the ideal parking lot would be a particular one. And of course, it's great to fact check things. It's great to go in and my logical mind and also my mother's logical mind wanted me to fact check it. So yeah, I went and checked, but I wasn't getting, to be honest, a very clear sense of how close the parking lot I had the intuitive hit was to the actual hospital, because when I tried to go into Google Maps and I tried to do the video thing where you can get street view and kind of move it along, it just wasn't letting me. There was some resistance there. And so the old me would have probably gotten frustrated. The old me probably would have made it into a thing. The old me probably would have felt anxious because I would have felt like I couldn't control the situation. And fast forward to this now moment, or just earlier this week, I just thought, you know what? There's plenty of parking. I'll drive around. I'll figure it out. That's what I said to myself. Deep down inside, I knew all was well. Deep down inside, I knew it had already worked out. I had already parked there. That's why I just wasn't feeling any sense of worry or anxiety about it. And there were some parts of me, in all transparency, clearly from what I just shared with you, that were. So it was sort of like a board meeting of a cacophony of many different sounds in here. There was this deep knowing, and then there was this peanut gallery of, opinions and comments. And so it was a very interesting moment when I did drop my mom off at the hospital. I could see that street was crazy with all kinds of construction and supposed to be two lanes and two lanes trying to pass each other with not enough space to pass. And I just thought, I am going to go around the corner and I'm going to park in that parking lot. And that parking lot, there was a spot, and that spot was directly in front of a walkway. And as I was sitting there just, paying my parking on my phone, my mother swung around just to say, "Oh my goodness, there's parking here." And it was less expensive than the one for the hospital. So again, real life moments, really notice what you're noticing right now, because as we move into tomorrow, as we all know, new moons are about, new choices and new beginnings. It's also an incredible time of rebirth. this old false self that has been falling away, that's been dissolving, if we've allowed that to be, has been preparing us for this now moment where we can really, today on this beautiful day, the Festival of Light, illuminate, our awareness, really feel into the presence of the light of our hearts, wishes, and desires, and to trust that what we are noticing and what we are even knowing, this is the perception now. It's what do we know? When I say that, I feel it from my throat. Actually, my throat down to my heart is the strongest, but I can also feel, probably because it's still scaffolding and coming online, that I can see it. I don't really feel it quite yet, but there is, from the star consciousness down through the third eye, the throat, the cosmic consciousness center of the nose, throat, and then the higher heart. And this is what I sense is, from my own journey so far, that I wanted to share with everyone, and invite you to notice what you're noticing in yourself too. Something that's being activated, because this deep trust, eyes on the divine at all times, comes from daily practice of being open, being curious, and checking in with ourselves in our body. So when we have a moment of awareness, and then we notice what we're noticing, emotions, thoughts, and then we take a moment to place our hands on our body and notice where that energy, just as I shared with you a moment ago, is activating, what's coming online, what's bubbling up to the surface, and loving all those parts of us. When I shared with you a moment ago that I was looking for the parking spot and the peanut gallery came online, I literally I just chose to smile. I chose to smile because the knowing was so deep, and it felt like old energy in me. It felt like the old way I would have handled things. And so I knew that residue was still in there, that those aspects of self that are not fully on board yet, and to offer them reassurance, offer them a chance to be seen and heard, offer them a chance to be witnessed in terms of which part of my body they're activating. And so that with this reassurance, I can come back into soul alignment, come back into alignment with that, star consciousness portal, and have this perfect balance between my earthly self, my emotional and mental and spiritual bodies, and my multidimensional presence, to begin to invite everything to be okay, everything to be seen and heard, everything to be acknowledged. And in doing so, inviting that wholeness, that experience of wholeness back in. And so the other reason I feel guided to share this with you today, and then we'll move into our practice, is, and I think today's show is going a little longer than I had planned, but I'm just trusting that everything is well and in divine timing, is that when we are experiencing, as you well may have this year, a sense of a timeline that has come across your mind's eye. I know I definitely have. And it feels real. We catch glimpses of it. When we're going through challenging times, as so many of us have been experiencing, in particular over this past year, where there have been lots of initiations. And by initiations, I mean not just the stuff that happens that we have to deal with, but how those moments, I'm getting excited here, open up our awareness to this multidimensional sight, this ability to see beyond the limitations and the programs of what we once thought, that it can be so easy to start to talk ourselves out of what we really desire to create, co-create, gift to the world, the timeline that feels most aligned for us to step onto. It can be so easy when we haven't been peeling away those layers of the coat and acknowledging them and just letting them pile up on us to begin to attract that static on the line, that static cling, and to get kind of lost in all of it and bogged down in all of it, and to then, you know, that's when those programs can kind of come in about it's not possible. And this is why some people on the path have, thrown in the towel. This is why some people on the path, but it's obviously not you if you're here listening to this now. And I bow before you and I take my hat off to you. And I just send you a huge energetic, circle of light and hug, because this is something that, is here to serve us, to help us to recognize as we approach this new moon that if we can see it, it's because there is, through this multidimensional presence of being with ourselves in the world and seeing the buffet of possibilities, that it does actually exist. What often happens is we look out at our now reality and say, OMG, it looks nothing like that. This isn't possible. And so tomorrow with the new moon energies, I really invite you to consider that if you've seen a glimpse of it, it is possible for you. And the only thing that is sort of so-called standing in the way of that co-creation, out picturing in this now potentiality, has to do with the soul alignment. And this has to do with how you're speaking to yourself, how you're feeling about things, and if it's a match for that which you have been shown. And that means off the meditation cushion, after you've said all your meditation, you've done, experienced your meditation, said your affirmations in the morning, is what you're noticing and what your next steps are. Those matching who you are on that timeline? Are you living it as if it's here now? Even if what is showing up and out picturing at this now moment around you doesn't look like a match. Remember, what's here now is just a reflection of your choices and your awareness from the past, from yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. So this is why sacred self-care is so incredibly important right now, because it's about opening up the space, the spaciousness, by releasing the trauma, the drama, the tears, the fears, the worries of the day, the woulda, coulda, shoulda's, all the stuff. So right now, I'm going to invite you in a moment into a sacred self-care practice. And just before I do, I'm going to just take a peek at the chat and just see if there's anyone there. Nope, there isn't. Okay, so I'm going to move forward with our practice. And I'm going to guide you through a very simple practice that you can use throughout the week. So I'm going to invite you to place your hands on your heart and begin to breathe in peace and relaxation. Exhaling out any worries, tears, fears, dramas of the day. And we're going to begin with 3 Ave Sa breaths. Breathing in Ave and exhaling Sa, allowing a beautiful smile to form on your face, reassuring the body that you are here now and loving presence for it. And again, breathing in Ave, opening up to your connection with the divine. And then Sa, exhaling, surrendering to the divine, smiling in gratitude for your connection to the divine. And one last time, Ave, Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now, gently closing your eyes. And we're just going to do a little bit of an exploration together. Feeling the warmth of your hands on your heart and the warmth of your heart on your hands. I'm going to invite you to feel into a wish you have right now, a heart's desire, something perhaps that has been offered to you in glimpses in your inner seeing, in your inner visioning, of something that feels joyous for you, something that feels uplifting for you, something that you would love to see outpicture in your life. I invite you just to take a moment and to feel into that inner seeing, that inner knowing. Just notice what that is like, looks like, feels like for you. Allowing the mind to relax. Setting the intention to be open and curious. And then imagining, seeing, sensing, feeling into being on that timeline with that wish now realized, experiencing it right here, right now, as if it's already done, because it is. And now noticing if there are any thoughts, if the mind has anything to say about that, and what emotions are being used by the mind to express that to you. And then if you want to, you can use your hand, one of your hands, perhaps your right hand. Just trust your inner guidance here. And just scan your body and notice where that feeling that the mind is communicating to you, that emotion that the mind is communicating to you, is landing. Is it butterflies in your stomach? Is it a heat or a pressure in your head? Is it a tingling in your toes? Where is it? And as you begin to notice where it is, I invite you now to send unconditional love and light to that part of your body. This is the love that is without judgment. I often see it as a pink, sparkly, golden, fluffy, light energy. And just send that beautiful, unconditional love and light energy to that part of your body. And as you do, just noticing, is there anything else? Is there anything else that is bubbling up in your mind that's being expressed through an emotion or even a sensation? Could even be a temperature change. And just loving that part of your body, thanking it for showing up for you. And just know and trust it is so happy and grateful and that you're showing up for it. Holding space for this part of your body that needs some reassurance. Thanking the body-mind for speaking to you. and receiving the appreciation from the body-mind for you being willing to show up and hear and see it without judgment, without needing to label it or make it something other than just what it is showing you in this now moment. Continuing to send unconditional love and light to this part of your body. If you're noticing a lot of mind chatter and it's hard to discern the specific words, I'm being invited to say just allow it to be the emotion. I feel like for someone here, there's someone trying to figure it out and understand what the words are, and they're getting bogged down in that. Just allow the emotion to bubble up and trust that it's safe to do so. Ideally, if you can name that emotion, sadness, frustration, worry, fear, there you go. It starts to release because it's been seen and heard. Continuing to send beautiful, sparkly pink, golden light to that area. Allowing it to release, allowing it to soften, allowing it to dissolve. There you go. Something's releasing now. There you go. And again, it may release just a little bit. It may release more than a little bit. It may release completely. Just know and trust that it is releasing in the right and perfect amount available for you right now. And there's no need to force anything or make anything happen. Just simply honor and be with it. The greatest gift that we can give ourselves today and tomorrow in these beautiful energies is to show up with compassion, with presence, without judgment, with unconditional love for ourselves, and love it all, notice it all, illuminate it all. You see, this is the choice I'm speaking of. The choice is really an awareness of everything that's available to us to help us to grow, to expand. There's no polarity here. There's no good or bad. This is good, this is bad. There's no file folder to sort and sift things through. Everything, absolutely everything, is helping us to emerge and to claim the highest possible timeline available for us in this now moment. So I invite you to place both of your hands back on your heart if you haven't already done so. And just send a big wave of thanks, a big ripple of thanks out to every cell, every mitochondria in your body. Generates the energy to your light body that's expanding with every breath. You choose to be aware of all of you, to illuminate all of yourself. And to just notice how you're feeling right now overall with this simple, sacred self-care practice of loving yourself back into the light. Light of awareness, light of conscious choice, light of multidimensional presence. And then when you're ready to begin to gently open your eyes, this is the daily gift you can give yourself. And I wholeheartedly invite you to practice this at every available opportunity that you are inspired to do so. Because right now, there is this beautiful energy available to all of us. And to claim it, it just means we need to make space, spaciousness within, so that we can notice the beauty of it and claim the beauty of it. And I really wholeheartedly, hand on heart, hope you choose that. Because when you choose that, you're not just choosing it for yourself, you're choosing it for the collective right now. And you're not just choosing perfect balance for yourself, you're choosing perfect balance for the collective, for the world. And in that way, we are better together. And, the your hopes and wishes, there's a ripple effect. As you live your highest possible timeline, as you trust the divine to fill in that timeline for you by doing the daily sacred self-care work, then this is also the letting go. When we're holding on to the past, when we're holding on to things that aren't working, things that no longer make us happy, it's oftentimes because we need to go in and do this practice around our trust. When we allow ourselves to trust more and open our hands, it's that saying of letting go to hold on. What we're holding on to is our alignment. We're holding on to that connection to source energy, to ourselves as divine co-creators in human form. There's nothing out there that we need to hold on to. And the more that we hold on to it, the more we invite in interference energy and static on the line. This is something that I've been initiated into over the past week and a half, as I know so many of you have. And it might almost sound to the logical mind kind of counterintuitive on so many levels. And yet this is where the trust comes in. That I go back to A Course in Miracles. Anything that is real cannot be destroyed. Only that which is real exists. So oftentimes what the logical mind forgets, what the ego mind forgets, is that what we're letting go of is the illusion. It's not the truth. The truth will always prevail, whether we choose to notice it or not. When we choose to notice it, that's when magic and miracles can happen. And that's when life gets a lot easier. And we can just allow what wants to emerge and dance with it and co-create from it, and realize that we're constantly living in abundance and flow and support, and it's beautiful. So with that, I'm going to close. And just before I do, I really wholeheartedly want to invite all of you to join Shri and Kira's at shriandkira.com, their New Year's Eve very special offering. Go to their website to check it out, to learn more. It is an amazing offering where you will have a chance to really prepare yourself for 2024. It's already here now, as they've been sharing. And right now, with this new moon energy, understanding the power of all of this that's available for you, they're sharing New Year's Eve will further help you and support you to dive into all that is available for you in 2024, the year of 8 energy, abundance, overflow, co-creation, the highest possible timeline available for you. And the most beautiful part of it is it's an aligned choice, because 100% of your registration fee goes to Global Minga, and Global Minga supports people to live their best lives too. It goes to help people in pain who don't have access to medical care to receive free medical care and miracles. It helps people to have homes. It helps the soil and the earth to regenerate herself. It helps communities to gather and restore ancient wisdom, medicines, and healing. And so if that is resounding in your heart and making your heart, spirit, and soul sing as I share that, then you're going to want to be there, and you're going to want to bring like 10 friends with you and have a party at your house, and let the world know so they don't miss out on the opportunity. Because imagine the world that we could have together if we all gathered, if we had every single being who feels inspired to live their light, to gather all at once in this miraculous energy and to amplify that for the world, we will usher in 2024 beyond anything we can even comprehend at this now moment. And also to help you prepare for that, I invite you to join my Luminous Lightworker group or hop onto my newsletter. You can go to my website and there's a pop-up that comes up, because November 21st to the 30th, I've been guided to offer another short 10-day e-course called Reboot Your Base Chakra. Because you see, the tipping point for so many of us right now is when we are grounded in our traditional root chakra. It makes everything else possible. And when we are not grounded in that, when we're diving into other things like fear, hesitancy, and doubt, we pinch ourselves off from all the abundance that's available for us, all of it, the new timelines, everything, the wellness, the well-being, the soul connection, the spiritual guidance, the intuition. And as the world is shifting and changing, the power of being safe in your body is going to be tantamount to a whole new experience of being in the world. And it doesn't matter where you're starting from. It doesn't matter if you feel like you've backslid. It doesn't matter if you feel like you've been on this journey for 20 years and you just want to, do a little tune up with your root chakra because you've opened up your ascended chakras, but you still have some wobbles sometimes because everything has intensified on this planet. Please know that this is an amazing e-course. It's for a very small amount. It's $44 US, less than the price of a latte a day. I will be putting the money towards Global Minga myself. Whatever I collect from that gathering is going to go to Global Minga. So I just want to share that with all of you, because together we are better. And if, again, you can, to do that, just go to info@pollyanannablanco.com. The link is below, and just send me an email and say you'd like to register, and we'll get you set up with all the materials so you're ready to go on November 21st. Wishing you a wonderful week ahead. Please feel free to comment below if you're watching the replay and any of this is resonating for you, to share your hopes, dreams, and wishes for the world, for your own experience moving forward. And many blessings. Happy Diwali, happy new moon tomorrow, and be well, beautiful creative soul.